was hiding in the cover till I talked to my daddy. He say you ain't said nothing till you're down on a month, and then you're sure to be a change in your ways. I met a cheerleader, was a real young glitter. All the times I can reminisce. All the best thing loving with a sister and a cousin only started with a little kiss like this. Seesaw swinging with the boys in the school, with your feet flying up in the air, singing hey diddle diddle with the kitty in the middle. You'd be swinging like you didn't care. So I took a big chance at the high school dance with a miss who was ready to play. Wasn't mean she was fooling, cause she knew what she was doing, that I know love was here to stay. She told me to walk this way, 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 walk this way. Just give me a kiss. Like this. We are the ones who don't know what we're fighting for. Give us a gun and send us all off to war. We are the ones who grow up in violent homes. We are the ones who don't know what's right or wrong. I know. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No more. We are the ones who don't know why we're losing score. Give them a badge so they could send us to the morgue. We are the ones who are sent to walk out the door. We are the ones who don't know what we're dying for. I know. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck now. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No. Get off his fucking neck. Love that makes you know. He can't fucking breathe. Love that makes you know. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck now. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest episode of ImNoBookie, your home for all things combat sports and the place where every armchair quarterback can feel like Ben Bronco. The views and opinions presented on the ImNoBookie channel belong solely to the person expressing them, no one else. If we say it, that means we meant it. That being said, this show does contain adult themes, adult content, and general shit that you shouldn't be letting your kids intake. Be advised, viewer discretion is recommended. Proceed at your own risk. You've been warned. If it's Thursday, you're probably just as confused as us. What the fuck the UFC's been doing? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, back to the I'm No Joe podcast, the show where every armchair quarterback can feel like an Eddie Bravo. God damn, has it been a hot fucking minute since we have had a regular fucking show. I hope you all have missed this shit as much as we have. God damn it, we are back, though, and we are here on the glorious road to UFC 280. But before we get to that, we've got all sorts of interesting shit going on this weekend. And before we even get into that, how the fuck are you gentlemen doing after this nice long break we've had?
Doing pretty good. Got to see some live fights for the first time last weekend. That FAC 16 card, that was fucking awesome. So,
fuck yeah.
It's been good on my end. Hope everything's been good for you guys.
Oh yeah, I'm glad we're back. I'm not gonna lie, I almost forgot to fucking come on tonight. Like after taking 2 weeks off,
Right.
one due to weight cut issues, and then this whole fucking week previous off, I fucking damn near forgot what fucking time we started.
I tell you. But we are back. We are here in all our glory. The kid should be here any moment. Confirmed twice with him. He is en route. Should be here. So hopefully we still get to pull off our Pit Grand Prix SemiFinals Round 2 at the latter portion of the show. But before we get to that, I realize it has been a minute, but we did have a short recap for the last fight card that was now almost a fucking month ago. So that is there if you guys did miss that. But that being said, we are going to start things off the way we like to around here with a little bit of news and recent events. Now, it has been a couple weeks since we've seen you guys, but I have tried to condense and crunch this all down as much as I could here. So I'm going to try and knock these out so we can kick right along here. First and foremost, a most pressing and news urgency recent bias, I guess, would be thrown into the mix here. We got confirmation this week that the Colorado State Athletic Commission denied Melvin Gillard a license to compete at BKFC 31 this weekend. I don't know that there was a whole lot of anticipation of seeing him realistically, but it's just interesting to see that we are finally at a point now where even non-California athletic commissions are starting to actively pay attention to fighters. And it is obvious, if you've been paying any kind of attention, that Melvin Gillard has been on a fucking horrible downward slide. I think he's 1-13 in his last 14 fights, and the one was an MMA fight on like a local scene before he started bouncing back and forth to bare knuckle and some weird fucking mixed martial arts rules and shit. But he has just been losing left and right, and it's as strange as it is to say, I'm actually glad to see an athletic commission say, no, you've fucking taken more than enough. We're not going to send you back in there. You want to do that? Find some other fucking state who doesn't give a shit. But Colorado is not fucking having it. So it's kind of a melancholy thing, but I think all in all, it is for the best that we are starting to actually see athletic commissions with the balls to make a statement like this, because realistically, Melvin Gillard did not need to go out and get knocked the fuck out again like he probably would have this weekend. So it's kind of a rough pill to hand out, but at the same time, it's time to take the fucking medicine. So rough going for Melvin, but good on Colorado. I'll put it that way. We've got a slew of fucking fight announcements, if you haven't guessed, in the time off here. Ironically enough, most of them confirmed or announced, finalized, if you will, within the last couple of days here. So let's try and knock some of these out here. The first one, sometimes it's like they say, the closed mouth don't get fed. If you want something, you got to fucking speak up. Whether you get it or not, at least you have said your fucking piece and made known what you are after. Sometimes you get exactly what you ask for, too. Drakkar Klose made a statement the last time he went out and got a good win, said that he wanted to fight Marco Madsen. He wanted to give himself a shot against that Olympic caliber wrestling. UFC seemed to think that's a pretty fucking good idea, because October 29th, the week after we get back from Abu Dhabi, Marco Madsen versus Drakkar Klose is officially signed, sealed, and delivered, and we will see it this month. So that, I think, is going to be a very interesting matchup here. We got one that was originally scheduled for this coming weekend, has now been moved back to next month. Neil Magny versus Daniel Rodriguez has officially been moved to the November 5th card. Daniel Rodriguez had a cut on his elbow that got seriously infected and pushed him back. And the day after they announced that he was going to have to pull out of the fight, Neil Magny had some sort of a minor injury that he was pulling out for as well. So the UFC just said, fuck it, we like the fight, we're just going to move it. They've thrown it over to the November 5th card. So we do still have Neil Magny versus D-Rod. Sucks that it had to go this way, but at least we still get that fight, because I like that matchup a whole lot. As well, on the November 5th card, one that we had heard rumors about, but we now officially have confirmed, pen to paper has been set. November 5th, we will also, beside that Neil Magny and D-Rod fight, get to see Josh Parisian step back in against the Vanilla Gorilla himself, Chase Sherman. Both of those dudes really need a big win, and stylistically, it's actually a pretty goddamn good matchup as well. So while we're slap fight or not, that one needs to go down, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. We got kind of a mixed bag announcement here. Last minute addition, if you will, to UFC 281 going down at MSG November 12th. The official retirement fight for one Frankie Edgar taking on Chris Gutierrez. I don't think that's the fight that anybody really wanted to see Frankie go out on. At the same time, it is a very winnable fight for him, and it's in his backyard. So the UFC didn't do him a whole lot of favors, but they didn't fuck him nearly as bad as they tried to do with Nate Diaz either. So it's going to be strange to see Frankie finally hang him up, but as long as he's been around and as many fucking legendary wars as he's been in, it's understandable. So kind of a bittersweet pill to swallow, but you know, it's Frankie, so it's going to be a good fight either way. We got kind of a turnaround piece of news here. We talked about it a little bit on the Short Friday show that I did a couple weeks back, but we now have official confirmation. Aspen Ladd, after missing weight atrociously, has officially been released from the UFC and then turned around and got picked right the fuck up by the PFL to compete in their 145-pound division. And we got confirmation today that they have officially given her first assignments. November 25th in the 145-pound ladies division, Aspen Ladd will be taking on none other than ex-Bellator champion Julia Budd. They are definitely not doing Aspen any favors there. I mean, I'm glad that they're going to let her fight at 145, but Julia Budd is a fucking tough out for anybody whose name isn't Cyborg. So it's going to be interesting to see how that one plays out. Best of luck. We'll fucking see. Oh, but then we move on to the UFC, what has now been confirmed as UFC Orlando, taking place December 3rd. We got a small slew of fights announced for this one here. First and foremost, Yasmin Uregui. I kept wanting to fucking call her name Uruguay because that's what it's fucking phonetically spelled like. Will be taking on Estela Nunes. Both newer ladies to the organization, both ladies with a lot of fucking potential here. So very interesting matchup to see there. Kind of a fell into place fight, if you will, here. We are now going to be seeing Brian Barberina taking on Rafael dos Anjos on that December 3rd Orlando card as well. That one was not originally booked, but kind of got thrown together when both of their previously scheduled opponents had fallen out. We've got the co-main event officially set for UFC Orlando going down December 3rd in one Tai Tuivasa versus Sergey Pavlovich. That's going to be a very, very interesting matchup here. More of a test for Sergey than I think for Tai. Kind of a gimme, a pitch, a lob fight, if you will, for Tuivasa coming off that last one we saw him out then. But then comes the biggest news for UFC Orlando. the main event / unretirement announcement of one Kevin Big Mouth Holland versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. We also got the interview where Kevin Holland himself this week came out and confirmed that as much as he was training and thought he was prepared, the way that Khamzat literally just ran through him put such a sour taste in his mouth that is literally what caused him to retire. And he honestly had no intentions of coming back. And then the UFC said, well, since we kind of fucked you pretty bad there on the whole pay-per-view thing, we're going to give you what you ask for and give you a guy who's going to strike and has no intention to wrestle with you whatsoever, which is ironically enough exactly what Wonder Boy has been asking for about 3 fucking years now. So at least this one stylistically makes sense, and it seems like they are kind of giving Kevin Holland that, we get it, we did you fucking dirty, let's give you a little bit of something to keep you from really fucking blowing the situation up.
That's nice that they're doing it for him, and then immediately turn around and fucking Wonder Boy in the process, who's been waiting in the wings for fucking ever. And no offense to Kevin Holland, but that is a step down in competition from where Wonder Boy should fucking be at, because he should be in that fucking fighting somebody in the top 5, possibly top 3, to get a chance at the fucking title. That's all I'm fucking saying. We've been bitching and complaining about that for like 2 years now.
Yep.
And same shit, different day. Not fucking surprised at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't say that it's shocking, but I will say, at least stylistically, that makes a lot more sense than the bullshit they've been proposing for either one of those two dudes for a while now. So not sure if I would necessarily have called that a great main event, but for a fight night, yeah, no, it's going to do the job, damn sure, especially with Tai Tuivasa on that fucking co-main and some of the other fights that they've added to that undercard. I think Orlando might turn out all right. That being said, the December 17th card, 2 weeks after that, we got a last-minute addition in the form of Cheyenne Bays / Velismus, whatever fucking name she's going by this week, taking on Corey McKenna, who is on a fucking steamroll heading uphill these days. Very interesting to see how that one takes place. Then we got a little trio of announcements here for the UFC 282 card taking place December 10th. The first one here, Ronnie Lawrence stepping back in to take on Cameron Simon. Interesting matchup. Both younger dudes in the organization, both getting their way back to things, trying to make a fucking statement here. So let's see how that one plays out. We got a kind of an interesting move here for both gentlemen involved. UFC 282 also has added to it one Alexander Gustafsson stepping back into the cage, taking on none other than Ovin St. Preux, and both of them this time taking it back to light heavyweight after both having made a foray into the heavyweight world. So both of those dudes, I think, are very aptly a set of what we refer to a lot of times as tweeners, where they're not quite genuine light heavyweights, but they're also not really big enough to compete with the guys that are genuine heavyweights either. This is another one of the situations where the UFC has literally put 60 fucking pounds difference in between two weight classes. And if ever there was a spot to add another fucking weight class, that would be the one, but UFC ain't going to do that. So at least I think with both of them going back to light heavyweight for this, I think it'll put them both on the best chance they've got to give us a good performance here. So I'm down with that as well. But the big one that we got confirmed this week for UFC 282 is one that we had heard some rumors murmuring around about, and now is officially confirmed pen to paper. Magomed Ankalaev is officially stepping in to take on none other than the Polish powerhouse himself, Jan Blachowicz. This is another one of those where we don't have confirmation because pen has not been put to paper yet, but one of the leading indications as to why this particular fight has been made is because they are trying, at least from confirmed close sources right now, to make the main event for UFC 282 the rematch of Yuri Prochazka versus Glover Teixeira, which would make 100% sense to have the Jan versus Magomed fight on there as well. Whether we actually see Yuri versus Glover rematch on that card or not, I still think that if that's the route that they are going with confirmed, Jan versus Magomed is probably the next most feasible fight to add to see essentially who gets next crack, really. So that'll be an interesting addition to 282, and then see down the road if maybe we get that belt stuck on top of that card or not here. First card of 2023 taking place on January 14th has had its first fight officially added to it here in the form of Ketlin Vieira taking on Raquel Pennington. That is a very interesting matchup. Top of the ladies division getting a little shake up as well here. See who's going to come out and be the next contender is there. I think that one makes a whole lot of fucking sense as well. Then we got I guess it would be a 4-set pair of announcements here. UFC 283 taking place back in Brazil on January 21st, 2023 has a couple of interesting fights added to it here. The first one, Shogun Rua taking on Ihor Potieria. I think is how they say it. I don't remember. Interesting matchup. Very much the UFC telling Shogun, look, shit or get off the pot at this point. Shogun is another one of those legends who's been around forever, and they're not even really matching him up against guys from his era or his reputation status, I guess would be the right phrase anymore. They're literally giving him the newer guys in a shit or get off the pot kind of moment here. And honestly, I don't know. It's been a rough going for Shogun for fucking sure. That very well could be his retire at home fight as well, since they stuck that on the pay-per-view, and it will be on the main card, they said, down in Brazil. So it's definitely going to be interesting to keep an eye on that one. One of the bigger fights that got me super fucking excited that they added to that Brazil card, though, coming out after that in the form of Paul Craig, the Bear Jew himself, stepping in to take on Johnny Walker at home in Brazil. That's going to be a fucking spectacular fight, and I can't wait to see that one play out as well. But then we got the piece de resistance, if you will. The confirmation pen has been set to paper. UFC 283, January 21st, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, will be the location for Davison Figuerado versus Brandon Moreno 4. We are officially running it back and doing it in Brazil.
I'm not mad at a 4-peat in that fight. That's one of the few fights I will say that I would not be mad at a 4-peat in.
Absolutely. I think the only part of that news coming out that bothered me even in the slightest was the other half of that announcement. Not only that we are getting the 4-peat between Figgy Smalls and Brandon Moreno, but the part that bothered me was that when they announced that, they then turned around and confirmed that Alexandre Pantoja is officially the backup for Figgy Smalls versus Moreno and will be getting paid to weigh in and show up just in case something happens. I don't think in any fucking realistic world Pantoja deserves to be the backup, let alone even realistically considered in the top 5. But UFC going to do what UFC going to
let alone think that he'll beat either one of them.
Yeah, I think either one of them would donkey stomp that motherfucker out of that arena with ease. So
yeah,
why they decided to choose him for the backup, I don't fucking know. But, you know, UFC is doing all kinds of fucking strange things. We also got the confirmation this week that Alexander Volkanovski, the current featherweight champion, has officially been made the backup for next week's UFC 280 Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev lightweight fight. Will be getting paid and weighing in the whole kit and caboodle, which absolutely makes no fucking sense to me. So it seems to be right in the same fucking vein as why they announced Pantoja be the fucking backup here.
The only reason I'm thinking they're allowing that is because, to be honest, as much as I hate to say it, he has ran through that entire fucking division, and he's getting pretty close to twice over. So at this point, sure, go ahead, put him as the backup. I don't think it's actually going to happen, but you know,
I have a feeling that that's kind of their unofficial introduction, like to show people that he would be able to show up and make weight at that weight, knowing that there is slim to no fucking chance that Islam versus Charlie Olives actually falls through. So
unless fucking Charles has another fucking weight miss, that's the only way that happens.
As long as they keep everybody away from the fucking scales pre-weigh-in, I don't think we're gonna have that issue again either. Oh, but moving on from there, we got the official confirmation this week. UFC 284 will officially be taking place February 11th, excuse me, February 11th, 2023, down in Perth, Australia. They are officially bringing the UFC back down under, and I think it is just the right fucking time. Plenty of fucking Aussie and New Zealander UFC potential to get on that card and make it all kinds of fun, and I don't think there's ever been an event for the UFC in Australia that wasn't fucking ecstatic, so definitely fucking stoked to see that one go down. Curious to see how they build that card around it. We got word this week in other news, Jose Aldo is officially looking for a professional boxing matchup, but also confirmed this week that that is essentially all he is going to be able to do, because despite the previous statement, they also confirmed this week that the UFC did not, in fact, release him from his contract and has no intention of doing so. So whether he wants to or not, there is no path forward for him to compete in MMA, at least for right now, which I have to say is extremely shitty. They gave him a horrible last fucking fight. They pretended they released him from his contract when he said he wanted to retire. And now that he's actually starting to look for other events to participate in, we get confirmation that no, that was all bullshit. He's still very much on the UFC fucking contract list and can't do anything without Daddy Dana's blessing, which we know he's never going to fucking give. So I hope Jose gets a fucking extremely lucrative fucking boxing contract and Dana goes and fucks himself. Speaking of Dana can go fuck himself. Yeah, hi, that creepy dude from Instagram, Dana. Go fuck yourself. We got word this week, confirmation of the speculation that got said creepy dude comment laid on me by Dana White himself, for the post that specifically was leading to the announcement that we actually got confirmed now. It wasn't so much that Dana White rented the Apex out to Mark Zuckerberg for that Mackenzie Dern card. What it turned out was they were basically just finishing up some backroom contract signatures, because they announced this week that the UFC has officially partnered with Meta to produce virtual reality broadcasts via Fight Pass. And the first official one will be this weekend's LFA card that no one's really excited about, and absolutely no one's looking forward to watching in VR. So despite all of the bullshit, all of the shit talking and trying to, personally attack everyone who made a comment about it or sniffed out the rumor early, Dana White did, in fact, lie his ass off, and they were, in fact, trying to put some business deals together with Mark Zuckerberg, and it looks like they did it to the wonderment of no one.
Yeah,
Zuck.
to be honest, Zuck wasn't there to watch fights. He wasn't there to hit pads in the fucking back.
No.
He was there for one reason only. That was their best shot at foreshadowing that they're going to try to put it into the meta. And to be honest, what asshole is going to sit here with a fucking VR headset like this to just look 180 degrees? That's fucking stupid. If that's the case and you're going to pay for that, I want one on top of the fucking ref's head.
That's basically what pretty much all of the UFC contracted fighters who have reacted to this announcement have said. The only way that would make any kind of fucking rational, realistic sense is if they were doing this specifically to put a 360-degree camera on the head mount of the referee, so that you're not watching the fight from a virtual fucking seat in the audience. You're watching it from the referee's point of view, which the PFL does sometimes with that little fucking glasses cam. That's one of the only good things the PFL has done. If they were going to do something like that for the metaverse and then make it free, which they never fucking will, then I could kind of understand, but that's not at all what they're going to do.
No. It's probably going to be fucking 60 rows back.
Yeah.
And you'll look at the guy sitting next to it, and the guy looking at that fucking camera is wanting to punch it over.
Right. Now, I will say, if they take these metaverse Apex seatings and fill them with digital Just Bleed guys, I might be slightly more okay with, but even then, just fucking slightly. So,
like super fucking slightly.
yeah, just the Contarius a little bit more, but even then, we'll see. So, that being said, the last thing that I have got for news and recent events this week, extremely fucking disappointing, especially considering the last few fucking outings that resulted in this. We have had official confirmation through the sources that do the updating on this, that as of the last match and the completion of his contract, Alexei Oleinik, the dad body constrictor himself, is no longer on the UFC roster and is officially a free agent. For somebody as accredited as he is, and who literally had just made history in the 60th pro fight, and the only fucking man in the UFC to have multiple Ezekiel chokes and multiple Von Flue chokes on his resume, first one to ever get an Ezekiel choke in the UFC to win a match, you would think they would at least want to, give him some kind of a send-off. Obviously not the Jose Aldo or fucking Frankie Edgar level, but still, the man has made several historical fucking entries into the world of mixed martial arts under the UFC banner proudly. You would think they would do him a little better than this, but it seems UFC is going to do what the UFC is going to do.
If he doesn't end up in at least the Fight Wing Hall of Fame for fucking the Ezekiel chokes,
yeah,
there's a problem.
Yeah, if UFC can't at least put him in there somehow for all of this shit that he has done under their banner and gotten them credit for, it doesn't make fucking sense to me. So that being said, though, that is all I have got this week for news and recent events. Do any of you gentlemen have anything that I might have missed along the way there?
I got a few little pieces. You got some old guys coming out of retirement. You got Chael Sonnen apparently coming out of retirement to fight Tito Ortiz next year for the Freedom Fight Night. They're going to fight it, light heavyweight. They're going to fight at 205. So, the opportunity of Chael Sonnen, I guess, getting his revenge. They're two really old dudes, but right. It's kind of funny. We got Uriah Hall boxing Le'Veon Bell here in a few weeks, October 29th. I'm looking forward to that. I'd like to see him. Not at first, I laughed at it. I thought it was a joke, but I've always liked Uriah Hall, and I'd love to see Le'Veon Bell get knocked out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we had Frank Mir this week as well, talking about how he'd like to fight again next year, and that interested me. So partially due to his daughter and everything like that, he'd like to
he
kind
said he
of
wanted to open a card for his daughter to finish. Yeah, I saw that. That I think that would be one of the only reasons I would be okay with Frank Mir coming out of retirement at this point, so fucking far removed from everything relevant. If he's gonna fight some fucking no-name dude, literally to be the card opening first prelim fight on a card where his daughter is the main event to headline, that I would be okay with, I think.
Still not okay with that. No. I'm out. No. Fuck that. Go sit your fucking old ass on the sidelines. If you're going to be doing anything, it should be fucking cornering her. That is it. And that then still put on both of your fucking knee and ankle braces, because God knows your beat up old ass can probably barely hobble down the fucking walkway.
Yeah.
And no disrespect, the dude's a fucking legend, but still, legends are supposed to die eventually. That's how that works.
That's right. There's a reason they have a phrase called passing the torch, because at some point you can't carry the flame anymore. I'll be surprised if Frank
can't really carry him fucking self. Look at him in those fucking few, if you call them boxing matches, they were fucking ugly. Like, doesn't belong anywhere near combat sports except for coaching. That's it. Great coach.
Absolutely.
Terrible example of being in fucking the situation right now.
Absolutely. You have anything else over there?
No, I'm good. I just wanted to give some love to the old guys there.
Gotcha. Apparently the kid's Wi-Fi is freaking out.
I think he's trying to be a chicken shit, man. He's scared. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know you're not going to say it, but I'm going to say it. I think he's scared.
He can be scared all he wants. It's fine. I've got shit I need to talk about anyway, so we're good.
It might be sober October, but somebody still don't want the smoke, is all I'm saying. So that being said, though, this will be the point where we send things over to our compatriot down here for a little thing we like to call Tapology with TJ. Take it away, sir.
No, I'm not gonna lie. Having 2 weeks off really fucked me up. So if I go over one I've already went over, fuck it. Like I said, 2 weeks off is a long fucking time. I'm going to go back past last week's fuckery of Dern versus Yen. We'll come back to that nonsense here in a moment. But I think I missed the last two previous to that too, because I was supposed to talk about those two previous, because we did have a little bit of
because that's when you had to go.
well.
Yeah, that's when you had to go play Lyft driver for your mom.
That's right. So that goes all the way back to UFC 279 was the one that I missed playing the fuckery. And then, of course, last week I would have covered the week after that. But hey, so we're going to go all the way back because, I tripped over my dick the week prior to UFC 279. However, in our little group there, coming in strong and hot, top spot on 279. Crazy shit, getting it done right at the fucking end, man. Calling that fucking Nate Diaz when fucking something that I stupidly shouldn't have done, even though he did get it. It lucked me out through it. Boy, Luke coming in a hot second. Got a meter here coming in third. Then our trip over your dick award goes Mr. Slowbake himself. Christian, what the fuck were you thinking there, man?
Yeah, see, I remember you already went over this.
I was going to say, wasn't that the roommate trip over your dick award? Didn't they both equally step on your dicks that week? I think.
Hey, like I said, fuck it.
I remember. I've already owned up to that one.
All right.
I know I did a little bit better 2 weeks ago on that Dern and fucking John and I at least got half.
It must have been this one, the Sandhagen and Song week that I fucking missed last week that I was supposed to cover. That's right.
Yeah.
So, going back to that, which would have been UFC Fight Night, Sandhagen, Song Yadong. Again, coming in hot and heavy in the top spot. Your boy right here. Right behind me, not far behind. Tim actually managed to get his fucking votes in for that one.
Finally.
Very impressive. And we got Don, River 2 are out there. Coming slightly behind him. Meter. Then again, we've got a fucking Slowbake right behind him. Your brother was just behind you. And the trip over your dick award goes to the boy Lucas, coming in dead fucking last with 280 points for that fucking card. Absolutely shit. The only one who did not get picks in would have been Don's son, which he's been kind of hit or miss. I understand he's got family, and I think he was doing it more so to hang out with the old man, which I'm cool with. Don, if you're listening to this, get on his ass, tell him to put his picks in so I don't have to call him out for not getting his picks in. And that'll bring us up to last week's fucking nonsense going back here. That was the Dern fucking Jan, what I will call a straight fuckery of a night of fights. Finally, after a week of tripping over his dick and then getting himself kind of back in it, got Christian coming in the top spot over there. Myself coming into the 2 spot there. Christian's brother right behind me in the 3 spot. And in the 4 spot, coming in, tripping over his dick miserably would be the meter. Absolutely fucking screwed the pooch on that one. I hope you didn't make bets on that fucking card. Now, with that being said, there was a lot of fucking misses last week. Don was not there, did not get his picks in. Lucas, where the fuck are you? Don, where was your son? Tim, where the fuck is your shit? Why am I missing half of my fucking people on the card there? What the fuck, man? Get your shit together. Look, Christian's brother doesn't even get to be here with us anymore on Thursdays because he fucking works a different shift. Still manages to get his picks in. What about you assholes? That's all I'm saying. Get it together, boys.
Yeah, even if it's a shitty fucking card or it's a fucking hangover, it's still, there's no excuse to not get the picks in. You don't have to watch the fucking fights. Just, make the picks. Just have some fun.
Like I said, the only fucking things we cover on this show, as far as Tapology, is just the UFC picks. I'm not asking you to go do Bellator, BKFC, or whatever other fuckery's on there. That's up to you. Just getting your UFC picks so we can cover them here. That's all. Come on. I even give you the week coming up. I tell you what the fucking odds are, so you know kind of an idea without doing any work at all. I'm giving you live odds as of Thursday. That's 2 days before the fucking fights happen. Don't get me wrong, the odds can always change a little bit, but we're right on there with fucking 2 days. And like I said, I'm not going to give you all of them because then that really ruins my fucking chances of where I make my fucking picks. Although there are some times I don't pick with that. I pick with my fucking, I like that guy more than that guy, so fuck that guy. But we're in one of those kind of situations this week because there's some fighters on this card that I could give two flying fucks about, but I'm going to give you the odds anyways. And we're going to start with the most lopsided of fucking odds on the GrassoVsArujo fucking fight card here. And that is going to be the opening fight. Has the biggest odds gap on the entire fucking card. Right now with Mike Jackson and Pete Rodriguez, we got Pete Rodriguez coming in at a heavy favorite, minus 675 favorite over Mike Jackson at a plus 500 underdog. And well, we all know how we feel about Mike Jackson, so we're just gonna move right on along from there because fuck that guy. Now, the other ones that were notable to me that I thought were worth taking a look at here on the prelims are some ones that you're probably not going to think of. And that's going to be the next fight on there in the flyweight because you've got a relatively unknown in fucking Tatsuro Taira. I'm probably martyring that Japanese dude's name so fucking miserably. And CJ.
No, you're pretty good. Tatsuro Taira.
Taira, yeah, you got
Dude,
it.
English, terrible. That's all. So, and then you got CJ across there from him. This one is kind of close to being a coin flip. It's still got Tatsuro a good bit ahead at minus 245, but then you've got almost equally on the backside a plus 205 for CJ over there. So, not a bad little bet there if you want to take Tatsuro. Look, I myself, big fan of the fucking Asian fighters, man. Most of those have that never say die attitude. Like you literally have to fucking kill them to get them out of there. So it's always a great one. Now, here's another fun one because right now I'm starting to think of this next fight, Nick Maximoff and Jacob Malkoun. I look at Nick Maximoff right now as he is like the fucking, he's what happens when you want to print a color in picture, but you ran out of color ink. He's like a black and white Nate Diaz who's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
But he talks like it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing he's got going for.
I like to think of Nick Maximoff like a 209 shaped wart that they lanced off Nate Diaz's ass.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, to be honest, I'm not a fan of him watching. Look, he was supposed to be the hot fucking ticket coming out of that fucking gym and being the next guy to carry on the Diaz army. He ain't carrying shit. He can't carry his own fucking weight. What's funny here is they're giving him way too much credit. And by way too much credit, they're calling this a fucking coin flip. They're giving him a minus 125 favorite over a plus 105 fucking Malkoun. I'm taking Jacob Malkoun out of Australia all day. Those fucking Aussies, man, they're a tough breed over there lately. So, I mean, look how much fucking goddamn shit Tai Tuivasa took before he finally went out in that fight. They're fucking tough. That's all I'm saying. And again, fuck Nick Maximoff at this point. I love Nick and Nate Diaz, but Maximoff is not it. There's something about that dude that just I don't like. So,
Well,
I'm
that
thinking,
you just look at their training partners, like Nick and Nate Diaz for Maximoff versus Robert fucking Whitaker for
Yeah.
Jacob Malkoun. One of these things not like the other.
That's right. Somebody knows how to take a fucking punch. That's for sure.
Yes, sir. I would much rather train with Bobby Knuckles than the fucking Diaz boys. And I like the Diaz brothers, but if it's coming down to actual fight accountability, no. Let me work with the Aussie.
And that brings me into the next one I want to talk about on the prelims, and this is going to be the last one because I don't give two fucks about the fucking premier prelim. But we're going to go Rafael Assunção and Victor, what I'm going to call Henry, but not just Victor Henry. Victor Fabio Locks Henry. Look at those big, long, curly fucking throw he's got going on there. This tells you how far Assunção has fucking fallen. Just by the fucking odds on this one. They have Victor Henry at a minus 390 favorite, Assunção at a plus 320. There was a day when you could look at Assunção and go, fuck, he's going to fuck some shit up. Stay out of his way. That day is not this day anymore. So if you're looking at making a good bet here, stick with Henry. I don't think Assunção gets him out of it. He's long in the tooth. It's time for him to take them gloves off, hop onto his horse, and ride off into the sunset and get the fuck out. Now,
as my grandpa would say, he's washed.
Yeah, he's more than fucking worst. He's like that. You know, I will put it to this. I don't know if you guys have caught the news on this, but there was a 140-year-old pair of Levi's found in a fucking mine out in, like, I think it was Arizona or something. He's like those. Yes, they're a great pair of jeans. They lasted that fucking long, but they're still that fucking old, and they're not going to last much longer in a wearing type fucking situation. So get the fuck out. But don't pay him $87,000 for them. That's all I'm saying. Now, one of the what I will call the most misplaced fights on the entire fucking card, the opening fight here on the main card of Misha Cirkunov and Alonzo Menifield. And I'm not talking about Alonzo Menifield like that. I'm talking about Cirkunov. That motherfucker. You know what's funny is, I'll say it. I'll tell everybody. For the longest time, just with Misha's name, I always thought fucking Russian, but he's fucking Canadian, which is great. Say Misha Cirkunov. What comes to your mind if you don't know? Russian. The Russian blood's still in him. Don't get me wrong. But Menifield is a hit or miss, which is funny because they have him as a minus 205 favorite over Misha. And I think Misha, they've got these odds way fucked up. I'm going to tell you, the odds will probably change before Saturday. Hopefully they stay in Menifield's favorite and kind of lean towards him a little bit because this is a good underdog pick, even though it's not really an underdog. It's pretty close to a coin flip. I'd still take Misha all fucking day on this. And that's no disrespect. Well, no, fuck Menifield. Moving on. So, coming into the middleweights, Jordan Wright, which I could give two fucks about, and Dusko Todorovic, and I'm probably martyring that fucking Serbian's name as well, but that's all right. Another fucking pretty close to coin flip. It's a lot of fucking close to coin flips here. We got a plus 175 in Wright and Dusko minus 205, which, to be honest, I think is about right. I think they could give Dusko a touch more fucking credit, but hey, it is what it is. Take Todorovic all day fucking long. Now, here's where things get fucking interesting, and like I said, this shit is all fucked up. This is what I would have considered to be my fucking main event on this card, is the People's Co-main event. Askar Askarov and Brandon Royval. If anybody remembers correctly here, a couple of years ago, Royval very well could have been that guy fighting for the title had he not popped his shoulder out of socket during the middle of the fight, which Not gonna lie, it turned out in our favor because we've gotten some fucking killer flyweight title fights out of it. And I don't wish Royval any fucking ill will, but I don't think he stands a fucking chance against Askar Askarov. That dude's been on an absolute fucking train of a tear. This could be his fight that gets him into that fucking title picture really fucking quick, depending on how this plays out. And the odds makers actually have it fairly close. They got Askarov at a minus 240 and Royval at a plus 200. Now, if you do want to bet the underdog, Royval is not a bad underdog to bet here at all. I'm not saying he doesn't have a dog in the fight, but I just don't think the teeth are big enough for Askarov. That's the key there. No, safe bet's Askarov. Not a stupid bet though. Royval. I'll say not a bad bet. So there you go. What's going to be interesting is the co-main event here when you got the bantamweights coming in, Cub Swanson and Jonathan Martinez. Cub Swanson's moved a weight class. He is no longer in the same weight class he was. And what's really fucking weird about this, did anybody notice he did not talk at all during any of the fucking media?
Yep, he brought Dan Argueta out there to do all of his talking for him, which was weird as shit.
I'm starting to think Cub Swanson has been hanging out with Diego Sanchez a little bit there. Because when weird shit like that starts happening, you have to start questioning somebody's sanity. Because, to be honest, I've always had a fucking soft spot for fucking Cub Swanson. There's always been something that I liked about that dude. And then this shit, I'm like, I don't think the odds makers have changed the odds enough on this yet. Because they don't give Martinez enough fucking credit here. They only have Martinez as a minus 205 favorite. And with that craziness that came out of Cub, there's some sort of fuckery afoot there. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not calling Jonathan Martinez a rule breaker by any means. Cub Swanson's a crafty old veteran.
Fuck yeah.
But when you're acting that fucking crazy, something has got to be fucking off. So safe money here is Martinez. Sure, bet Cub Swanson just purely on the fucking crafty old veteran side of things, but yeah, I'm going Martinez in this one just because of the weird fucking whole interview process. Now, that's not to say I'm not going to be rooting for fucking Cub because I would like to see him win again. Because, like I said, I like the guy, even though it was a little off-putting. I swear to God, if somebody else talks for him in a post-fight though and he wins, I'm fucking off the Cub Swanson train. Fucking done. That fucker can stay at the goddamn station.
Well, one thing I've thought of ever since I saw that is that he might be having troubles with weight. That's why he had him talk for him, because if he's having a tough weight cut, might be having troubles with his speech and shit, just not trying to talk going into fight week and hoping he makes weight and everything. That's the biggest thing I'm going to look into, because obviously we'll see tomorrow morning.
Well, it's a big weight cut.
We'll get weigh-ins tomorrow morning. If he winds up missing weight or if he winds up weighing in, he looks really bad. I hope it's not that, right? I hope it's just some other bullshit, like he's trying to play some. But he's been talked about the most. That's the biggest thing. It could just be that. This isn't that great of a card, and he's been in the news the most because of that weird fuckery with his interview.
Yeah,
could have done some PR shit and try to get his butt, because that's his training partner, right? Argueta. Yeah. So maybe he just wanted to give him some shine too. I don't,
No, I really think there's some other sort of fuckery afoot. But hey, man, that's up to open discussion. Maybe we'll find out after the fight is over. But then that brings us into what I will call the most lackluster main event that we've had probably all year long. I am not excited about this at all. I would much rather watch a dog lick another dog's asshole. That's how I feel about this, and I don't want to watch that either. Alexa Grasso and Vivian Arugio. Arugio looks like what happens when you go to take steroids and pull the needle out before the steroid gets injected. Everything starts to sink in, but not quite fully there. Alexa Grasso acts like she's going to be a fucking mom sometime soon, but can't fight. No, I'm out. I'm out all the way fucking across the board. Don't get me wrong. The one good thing that this has going for it is it has soccer implications or football. Mexico versus Brazil. That's all you fucking need to know. And to be honest, they've got it out about a coin flip, and I'm okay with that. Let's watch two soup cans kick around and see which one gets a goal. I mean, they did give Grasso a minus 225 because she's slightly ranked above Arugio, but neither one of them are going to hold a candle at the fucking current champ. So that's all I'm saying. Fuck the main event. Give me fucking Askar Askarov and Brandon Royval as the main event. Or even weird fucking Cub Swanson and Jonathan Martinez over that shit.
Yeah.
And is it me or is it really weird that it's such a small fucking main card with so many goddamn prelims comparative? But hey.
I think, I mean, I know the D-Rod versus Neil Magny fight was supposed to be on the main card here as well, but I think that's the only fight that's fallen off this card, if I remember right. So
yeah, it just seems
even then it would still be stacked weird.
Yeah, I don't think they've adjusted them yet. I'm guessing we'll probably see it adjusted where they'll have a 6-fight main card and a fucking 5-fight undercard. I hope they do, because to be honest, they could easily move the fucking Rafael Sancho and Victor Henry fight to the main card and tell Nick Maximoff to stay on the fucking prelims where he belongs while Bo Nickel goes to the main card. That's all I'm saying. And then Maximoff can fucking retire. But yeah, there you go. There you have it. And then next week we'll give you our odds on the upcoming pay-per-view, which to be honest, I'm excited about, but pissed at the same time because I already know I'm gonna miss watching it.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting for damn sure. So if you would like to get in on said action, remember, we are officially not sponsored or endorsed in any way, shape, or form, but we do take advantage of the free service offered by Tapology.com to take our fantasy MMA picks, if you will, into account here. So if you would like to get in on that action, go over to Tapology, make yourself an account, and look for the group ImNoBookie, all one word, or group 965. The link is also down in the description as well. Join up, get your picks in. You can compete. That being said, that'll bring us over to our other segment here. We like to refer to as Slows, Cans, and Contenders with our brother Christian here. Take it away, sir.
All right, so obviously we had a little break. We've had some time off. So go back a few weeks here to the week 9 of the Contender Series. Just recap. We had 5 contracts given in those last couple of weeks of the Contender Series. Like most of the season 6 we had, not all of them really earned. There was a few guys that looked decent. Bruno Ferreira, he had a really good finish in just a minute and a half. He looks like he could be something to look forward to. Austin Lane, he was a guy from the NFL. He wound up losing on the Contender Series back in season 2 to, one of the bitch asses we don't like talking about on the podcast, Mr. Hardy. That's all I'll say about that. But I was happy to see Austin Lane come back, keep fighting after a couple years of losing that fight, come back, have a really good showing on the Contender Series, and wound up getting a contract. And then in week 9, we had a topic of discussion that obviously I feel like you guys would like to touch on. Raul Rosas Jr., getting the contract, the 17 years old. He showed that he has some decent ability with his ground game and jiu-jitsu. And, I mean, he is a young kid that fought a 25-year-old guy or whatnot. But for him to get a full-on contract, it was definitely a huge surprise. I didn't think he was deserving of it, or if anything, maybe a developmental contract, have him, fight on some different promotions, like on Fight Pass or something like that. So there's a little bit of extra eyes on him in the UFC sense, but you keep him like hooked to you, but not necessarily fighting on the UFC banner quite yet. You should have given him some time to grow, and I just don't see this kid really having a fantastic career. It could be like a Paddy Pimblett situation. There's just a lot of hype because of his youth, and he winds up getting his ass beat once he gets his first couple fights in the UFC. So the hype train might get stopped pretty early, just like we think about Paddy still. I like Paddy Pimblett, but I still think, if he fights a guy closer to the top 20 or something in the lightweight division, he's probably going to get beat pretty bad. I don't think he's that good yet. So he doesn't take things seriously enough. So
No, I think the young kid has no fucking right to be there. Because to be honest, I don't think he's anywhere near as talented as Bo Nickel, and Bo Nickel has fucking had to fight twice on that in order to get his. Don't get me wrong, yeah, his record was better, but he also didn't look as polished. I'm just saying. That ankle pick out of Bo Nickel showed why he belongs there. And that dude being so young, he looked fucking way too wild, and obviously he's been fighting a bunch of fucking off the couchers. I can't even call him Supermans because, like, you see the quality of what he's fighting against. Of course, he's able to fucking do wild shit.
Yeah, I think they said on that broadcast the combined record of all the guys that he has fought in his quote unquote pro career is like 4-13 or something like that. So yes, he has technically had pro fights, but are they really fucking pro fights considering as much trouble as he had in the ground game world, which is supposed to be his specialty, against a dude who was a legit can that he was facing? I don't know, man. Kid's got a lot of fucking proving to win me over. That's for damn sure.
And to be honest, Paddy folds that kid fucking 100 times out of 100, guaranteed.
Fuck yeah. Folds that kid like a fucking taco and eats him for lunch.
I can't believe you would disrespect Paddy that much, because that kid is fucking terrible.
I don't know. I think they're pretty.
No, I was just making that statement that I feel like this kid's gonna, because of the hype behind him. I feel the same with Paddy Pimblett. Because of the hype behind him, similar to Bo, they're gonna give them guys that are a lot better than them, and they're just gonna get smashed, and it's gonna destroy their hype. It's similar to the Aaron Pico situation, and it's okay for them to have a slow build for Paddy Pimblett like they've been doing and give him guys that just aren't that good so that he can get wins. If that's the situation for him, that's what I'm saying. The 17-year-old, you didn't want to give him a developmental contract, so develop the kid, give him cans, and just build him up. He's only got 6 pro fights. He's 6-0, so just build that record up. Hopefully he can, actually add to the skills and shit. So when he gets to a skilled opponent, maybe he surprises us. He just didn't look that special. That was the other big thing. He was able to survive through the fight. He had one good moment where he almost locked up a decent, leg lock, but it just wasn't that much of anything otherwise. He was able to control a grappling match with a 25-year-old dude.
Right.
Maybe someday something else will come out. We haven't been able to prove ourselves, prove that the kid's a phony.
Right.
That's all else I'll say about that. If we can't break the news
sniff
ourselves,
test has not
maybe
officially been passed yet.
Will.
The sniff test has not officially been passed by that kid yet, for damn sure. But there are folks looking into it. Don't you fucking worry, Raul.
We'll move on to that last week of the Contender Series. There are another 5 contracts given. There was another few guys that interest me. Jack Jennings, I mean, he had a dominant fucking, performance. He was good with his wrestling. He was able to get the fight to the ground. He had really good ground and pound, cut the guy. He was fighting up with his elbows and everything. Got the technical knockout finish. So, we'll see how he does in the UFC. Sam Patterson, he also got a finish. It looked decent. He was rocky at the start, and it was one of those comeback situations. Gets the finish in round 2. We'll see how he does well. And then obviously you got the man Bo Nickel doing what he does. Just under a minute, 52 seconds. The fight starts. They do a little kind of dancing around for a second to see each other out, and Bo just throws a shot, catches the guy. He starts stepping back a little bit, and like couldn't tell that it was even a punch that was thrown. It just looked to me like Bo went for a takedown. But I mean, it was like punched, a straight takedown. It was slick as fuck how he did it, instantaneous. They sprawl for a little second, and then he hooks up a triangle with no hands, right?
Yep.
Like hook in a triangle and get the finish in under a minute with no fucking hands. Can't wait to see him in the UFC. The only thing that I've got to say, otherwise, can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. I'm not too happy with who they matched him up against. I think they could have given him somebody a little bit better than Jamie Pickett, but I'm still excited to see him debut. I'm glad they're getting him in, on a pay-per-view, and we get to see him again this year and make his debut this year. By next year, he'll probably be fighting guys closer to the rankings. So.
Yeah, no, I'll disagree with you on that one. Jamie Pickett, to his credit, when he came into the UFC, was a very highly touted prospect. And to be fair, if he could figure out how to get consistency under control, he would still be a pretty highly touted prospect. His problem is he can't decide whether he's hot or fucking cold one day to the next. That, I think, is actually a really good situation for Bo, because he does have somewhat of a name behind him. He's been in some notable, decent matches, so he's not a complete unknown. And at the same time, he's still at a skill level enough to where Bo's going to be able to go in there, just donkey stomp the fuck out of him and come out looking like a hero for it.
And that's the only reason I think, that Jamie Pickett, he could have given him someone better, closer to, I would say, the top 30, top 25, just somebody a little better than Jamie Pickett in the middleweight rankings. I mean, because you've got Trayshawn Gore, I think. Isn't he a little higher than Jamie Pickett? Well, I know he's booked, but I'm talking about like rankings. Yeah, if you were to pull up the rankings list of the middleweights, wouldn't he be
I can't even say give him higher?
I'm asking that question. Is Jamie Pickett considered higher than Trayshawn in the rankings in your eyes, or not?
Yeah,
not by a lot, but yeah, still
by a good bit.
That's just that range feels too low for me, because especially Bo calling out Hamzat. He's the one dude I feel like don't give him the top ranked guys yet, but you could push him close.
Yeah, I wouldn't be mad if they give him a little more of the Alex Pereira treatment. Like, don't give him somebody in the top fucking 5 right out the gate, but give him a fucking ranked guy and let him jump. So I think Jamie Pickett might just be the springboard that they're going to use when he beats the shit out of Jamie Pickett. They're going to be like, well, fuck, now we got to give him a ranked opponent. Let's see what he can do. February 2023, send him down to Australia, let him beat the shit out of Jacob Malkoon, because, that's going to come out here. So,
and I have no fucking qualms about the Pickett fight off the get-go. He wanted something that was quick so he could fight again this year.
Yep.
You're not going to get a top 10 guy to go, 2 months? No.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a fucking top 15 guy to go 2 months. Yeah, no. It's not going to happen. So where he's at, this is the best available for the time, which I'm perfectly all right with. Pickett is well enough known. We've seen what he's capable of when he's on. Even if he shows up on, though, I highly doubt he's going to be able to match the energy of Bo Nickel. The only question I have is, because nobody's done it yet, what's going to happen when Bo Nickel finally actually gets touched?
Right. Yeah,
that's
Pickett, that's one thing I will say. Pickett will be able to at least land one on him. I don't know if he's going to hurt him, but I bet Pickett can at least land a shot or two on him a lot easier, or I won't say a lot easier, more effectively, I think would be.
I feel like if I was going to put money on that fight, that's what I would put, a little prop bet on whether Pickett even lands a strike on Bo at all.
If he pulls a Kamzat and does not get touched, they have to springboard him, because they realize what happened with Kamzat is they slowed that train way too fucking much.
Yeah, they should have
Like,
just let him keep going.
They should have just let him fucking rocket himself up there. And I think they're realizing that now after the whole fuckery of missing weight and fucking shit up. They should have let him do it when he was on the rocket ship. Because now that, as much as I hate to say it, Khamzat, it's not that he's peaked, but his rocket ship is kind of stalled for the moment. They missed a golden fucking opportunity to get him up there. And if they're smart, they'll do the same thing with Bo Nickel. If Bo Nickel comes in there, stomps a mud hole and Pickett, walks it dry, in God, it's probably going to be under a minute again, just because, look, he's got hands. We've seen the fucking hands. Is that wasn't a takedown. That was, dude was stumbling. He ankle picked him, and it was fucking beautiful. But then you've also seen his first professional fight, fucking knocks the guy up. The dude's got some hands. Now we'll see how good the hands are once he gets to the little higher level of where guys actually do have hands in this division. But for a guy coming in, technically this would be his fourth pro fight coming in, fifth. I'm just saying. We'll to be able to tell a lot off of this Pickett fight on whether or not he needs to be blown the fuck up to the top or just kind of slowly worked up. Either way, I think he comes out with a W. I like the Pickett call. I don't think a top 15 guy or even was the right choice for him to be his first fight. So I'm okay with it. Don't get me wrong. I want to see him rocket to the top just because he's got charisma and he's not an asshole about it. And we don't have any of those we haven't had anybody like that in a while. Just he tells it how he feels it, but he's not a dickhead about it. He's literally a guy you want to see succeed.
Yeah, I will say the only thing I've seen out of Bo Nickel at all, and I mean at all so far, that has made me even remotely just the tiniest bit question anything about him,
please,
was the video that we watched him reverse sear a steak on his Traeger and then burn the motherfucker in butter when he took it out of the fucking Traeger. You could hear the crunch when he cut the goddamn steak. Steak should never be that hard.
No, dude. That was the first thing that came to mind. I'm like, I love it. You reverse seared it. You smoked it first, got it to a nice internal temp before you seared it.
Right, yeah.
Then you fucking seared it to burnt. God damn it.
No.
I was like, yes, we want a little bit of Maillard reaction, not fucking trying to make diamonds off of the fucking crust because it's all
you're not
charcoal.
Supposed to create a fucking breading crunch level coating on the outside of it. Calm down, Bo.
Yeah, that's the only questionable thing I've seen him do so far.
All right, so I mean, to wrap up with the season 6 of the Contender Series, I mean, the top prospects that I'm looking forward to here in the UFC, we got Bo, obviously, and then Rosas. We'll see how he does whenever and however he gets his debut. You got Joe Pyfer. I mean, he's already made his debut. If he keeps the knockout train rolling, I'm going to be interested in him. You know, I like his story at least a little bit. The dude was pretty much homeless, and he his Contender Series win gave him a fucking place to live, a little bit of money. He's got himself a job. So if he keeps winning, good on him. So looking forward to that. We got Chris Duncan. You know, he won early on in the season. He was fighting Charlie Campbell. It looked like Campbell was going to get the win. Duncan got that comeback, fucking knocked Campbell out. So when Chris Duncan gets his debut, that'll be good to see. You got Billy Goff. Looking forward to his debut. There's another same situation. Had a tough first round, comes back, gets the finish. Any of those dudes, they show that heart, they show that toughness. Always looking forward to seeing them again. You got Clayton Carpenter, young guy, looked really skilled. We'll look out for him. You got Mike Parkin, heavyweight. One of the better heavyweights that we saw. We had a few heavyweights get some contracts out of this season. Mike Parkin, an English guy, trains with Paul Craig and Tom Aspinall. We'll see what he does in the heavyweight division once he gets in there. Cameron Saman, you said earlier in the news segment, he's already got his fight with Ronnie Lawrence set up later in the year. That kid, young, talented as well, and fighting Ronnie Lawrence, that's a good first fight. So I'm excited for that one. We'll see where he fucking goes. I mean, even if he loses that fight, goes out there and he's tough, we'll see how he does in his career. He won't get kicked out the UFC if he loses a tough fight to Ronnie Lawrence. So we'll see how that one goes. We got the Japanese kid, Usaku Kinoshita. We look forward to him getting his debut. I know he got banged up in his Contender Series fight. We probably won't see him this year, but next year, something like that, when he makes his debut, definitely a huge fucking Japanese prospect. We got Cedric Dumas. He seems like he's kind of a cocky guy, but I kind of like him. He fucking had that stand and choke finish. We'll see what he can do when he gets to the UFC. We got Gabriel and Ismail Bonfim, the Bonfim brothers. We'll see what they can do. They keep adding these brother combinations. So we'll see what the Bonfim brothers can do when they get in. And then the last guy, in my opinion, Ikram Elixirov. It's kind of hard to pronounce his name a little bit, but that may be the only thing that keeps him from getting some traction and some fan. But the kid looked really good on the Contender Series, so we'll look out for him as well. Obviously, we got PFL and extra shit coming up down the road to fucking look into to keep the fucking series, the series cans and contenders going. I got a few fucking prospects. Me and Vincent got to see the FAC last weekend. A few prospects to look out for. Some amateurs right now, but some pros. Definitely, in my opinion, probably going to see him up in Bellator, UFC, something like that. Because a lot of these guys train out in Glory with James Krause and all the pro guys out there, David Onama and shit like that. So these guys, they look fucking fantastic too. These guys I'm going to talk about, they got finishes. They look fucking amazing, and a lot of them have undefeated records. So you got Austin Spangler. He's 6-0 now. He's an amateur. Probably going to see him make his pro debut soon. He didn't get a finish, but he definitely he beat the fuck out of him. I mean, the guy was tough. He was able to stay in the fight, but it was one of those amateur fights. Spangler definitely beat the guy down. Looks decent. We'll look forward to him getting into the pros. Possibly see him going down the road someday. Daniel Olajiga, he is now 2-1. He had his third pro fight. Another situation, and he beat a guy down, and then that guy who wanted to be a sourpuss and I think ruined his professional career, Dwayne Diggs. Towards the end of the fight, Olajiga was just tired. He's a big fucking fit dude, but he needs to work on the cardio a little bit. He was tired by the third round after all the wrestling they'd been doing, and the ref stood him up. Dwayne Diggs flips off the crowd, the home Kansas City crowd, and then pulls down his shorts, moons us all. Fucking, oh man, loud ass boo. The whole crowd was fucking going crazy. He's 4-4 now too. Dwayne Diggs probably ruined his professional career with that shit. But Olajiga, he's something to look forward to as well. There's Sam Coronado, a local guy who trains with Kevin Kroom and shit. So he's an amateur right now, I think, but he'll probably make his pro debut soon as well. Keep an eye on him just because of the guys he trains with, like Nick Kroom or Kevin Kroom. We got Nick Meck. He's now 4-0, I think, or 5-0 professional.
I think he's 5-0 now.
Yep. He had a crazy fucking Kimura finish in the first round. I mean, that was to
awesome
me.
Looking.
And to me, that was the best finish of the night. You got to keep an eye on Nick Meck. I think he's definitely going to be in the UFC someday. I don't think he trains at Glory. He trains with a different team. He's got a different coach. But he's a dude to fucking keep an eye on for sure. I think a couple more fights, you'll probably be seeing him. Maybe even next year, he might get the Contender Series call or something like that. I mean, this dude, seriously fucking good, seriously talented. I mean, he was looking good on the feet, and then it went to the fucking ground and just crazy ass Kimura.
Yeah.
And then we got Alan Olivas. He's a guy that trains at Glory. He looked fantastic as well. I think he's undefeated. And another first round submission looked fucking fantastic. so we'll be looking out for him too. Was able to meet a few of these guys as well, like Olivas and Olajiga, Spangler. Was able to meet a few of the guys, follow them up on Instagram. It was cool. Got to see James Crest. Didn't get to talk to him and meet him. That was the only shit one, right? Because he was busy the whole fucking night coaching all the guys. But getting to see a few of the guys come out afterwards, because we were sitting up front right near the cage. And a lot of the guys, after their fights, they'd come out. They're sitting there watching their teammates and shit. So it was just a cool fucking experience getting to see live fights for the first time, getting to see all these fucking prospects. I would like to say that, like Dakota Bush, I'd like to throw him out there, but I mean, he needs to work on his shit still before he could say that he's, good enough to get back to the UFC. He just needs to strike more. He's fantastic with his wrestling and his grappling, but you don't need to wrestle fuck a dude for 3 rounds or 5 rounds. You got to be well rounded. Marshall Kemp was the same way. He's a real young guy, and he looked really good with his grappling, but the same situation, Marshall Kemp's fight, he needed to work on his, striking and shit. The last guy I talk about, Zach Scrogan. Zach Scrogan had a pretty good finish. It was a weird technical knockout he had in the first round, because he really got the technical knockout from fucking the dude up with leg kicks. And Keith Dawson, I was looking forward to him. Like, he's another local guy. He's actually a really good, tough fighter, but he just wasn't expecting those fucking calf kicks. It fucked him up. And he got a technical knockout. He just kind of gave up, a little bit. Scrogan was cracking with the leg kicks and then started punching it. He just kind of gave up. So, we'll see what Scrogan can do after the fact. He's 3-0 now. So we had a bunch of cool local guys. It was a nice fucking time. We're definitely going to keep an eye out for that. And just the local scene in general. I know we got the Shamrock event going on in November. We got Shamrock event in December. And then the week after the December Shamrock event, we're supposed to get another FAC event.
Is that
FAC
when 17 is?
Yep.
Nice. I hadn't heard the official date. I just knew that they were supposedly trying to book it after that Shamrock event. So
yeah, it's December 9th.
Nice.
So, I mean, that's all I got for this week's Cans and Contenders, man. I'll keep on shit, whatever we can, whatever fucking, promotions, and until we get next year's actual Contender Series, but don't think we'll change the name. I like the name. We'll get cans and we'll get some contenders even still,
Hell yeah. Thank you very much, sir. Much appreciated. So that, boys and girls, will bring us to the point where if you're watching the show live on youtube.com/ImNoJoe, you will know by the glorious gift that comes rolling across the screen at this point that this is the time during the show where things stop being so lighthearted and get down to a little bit more of a competitive angle here. This is the point in the show where, if you pay attention every once in a while, it just comes across, and you have to notice. Wait a minute. Is my camera doing the thing again? And the kid left too? And then hopefully we can get everything straightened out here. So give me just a second. Let me try and get this. I think I got it. It looks like the kid. I don't know. Hang on. This. Brother, things not going your way when it comes down. Wait, what? 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 The kid ran off. Oh, let me tell you something, RJ. You don't know. I don't know. But we're going to find out what you're going to do, brother, 1 meter mania runs wild on you. If he ever comes back. So normally this would be the point where we have a competition, but I don't know if the kid's coming back or not. I think Sober October scared him off. He definitely don't want to smoke.
He bailed. Uh-oh. We've got a weight cutting issue again.
The commission didn't say nothing this week.
Somebody must have been touching them scales.
I think we lost him. I think he's scared.
Yep. I think we did lose him. Yep, we lost him.
Yeah. I think we lost him, unfortunately.
1,
Yeah, too.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Disqualification. Disqualification. RJ is out. He's disqualified. Bring in the backup.
Kids these days, you give them books, and all they do is chew on the covers.
I was excited, man. I was looking forward to being Bruce Buffer.
Kids these days. Well,
The backup.
we're gonna have a competition here.
Guess I'll be taking over as fucking Bruce Buffer now. So, Christian, you're on the fucking backup roster. Get in. Get ready. I will come up with I will manage this here. So, weight cutting issue. Christian has seemed to have made weight for championship weight here. So, me coming in and doing a little backup here. So, being as this is a short notice pit fight for Christian. Christian, I'm going to give you the option of going first or second.
I'll go second.
All right. In that case, let's start off how we always do. We're going to start with this. Which fight on this card is an absolute fucking disgrace? And
If my Wi-Fi drops out one more fucking time, I'm going to lose my shit.
He's back.
I am going to lose my fucking shit in here.
I'm glad you're back because now we can go back to the original. Me being Bruce Buffer and TJ being tonight's judge.
There we go.
RJ can now get the beat down.
I swear to God.
Cat 5 cable is your friend.
My port is on the other side of my fucking house.
Run it through the house just like I did mine.
Through what? The fucking hardwood floor?
Goddamn right.
Goddamn
Motherfucker, right. I wish.
That's what it. Obviously, you don't know what fish tape is.
Dude, I work 2 fucking jobs. I work 15 hours a fucking day. I don't have time to rip up my fucking hardwood floor.
You don't have to rip up the floor. That's what fish tape is for.
I don't have the time to do that.
Okay, sure. We'll just leave it at that.
Either way, we gotta hurry. This fucking mustache is killing me.
All right. Okay, so now I guess I'll be Bruce Buffer, and I'll ask the questions, and then TJ will get us the judging going and decide who wins each round and choose tonight's winner for us.
Special guest.
All righty. So for round one, let's start things off because I feel like the co-main event is a little lackluster. We were supposed to get Daniel Rodriguez versus Neil Magny. It got pushed back. Both guys had some injuries and whatnot. So now we get a co-main event this weekend. Cub Swanson versus Jonathan Martinez. So I'll ask you, gentlemen, break it down for us. What do you think we're going to see? We'll start it off with the co-main event question. What are we going to see with the co-main event? Cub Swanson versus Jonathan Martinez. And we'll start it off with Meter, since we were going to start it off with Meter anyways, before RJ popped back in.
Let me tell you, brother, when I look at this matchup, I see Fabia's imprints all over it. And when everybody expects you to do what they expect you to do, I think Cub Swanson's going to do what Joshua Fabia tells him to do. And he's going to come out and he's going to do a handstand and let Jonathan Martinez punch him in the face 7 to 13 times before the crowd starts to rise up and show him the way to victory. Cub Swanson, round 2 TKO.
Like it. So, RJ.
So,
Now you.
co-main, I am in agreement. Cub Swanson. I think it's going to be a traditional Cub Swanson get of a mid to late round or late to mid first round knockout KO TKO victory. That's just his fucking MO, and especially against a decision monster like Martinez, he's not gonna fucking stand a chance.
God damn, I didn't think judging this fight would be that fucking hard. That's a tough one because, to be honest, I think you're both fucking wrong. But, you know, I have to judge based on what you gave me here. Think with the oddness that applies to Cub Swanson this week and that whole not wanting to talk thing, maybe he does get the talking done with his fists.
I mean, he's fighting somebody that quite literally has all of his W's on his last 5 fights all by decision. You don't win titles with decisions. You don't fucking make your bread and butter with decisions. Decisions will get you cut if you keep doing fucking bullshit.
Now, here's the kicker with this. He might do his talking with his fist, but because he didn't want to talk, in order to get those fists going, he's going to have to eat some punches. So I'm going to have to give round 1 to Meter Mania over there because I think he's going to have to take a couple before he can finish him later in the fight, if he finishes him at all.
What you gonna do, RJ? When Meter Mania runs wild on you, brother.
All right, so with Meter taking round 1, let's move on to round 2. So for round 2, well, we like to call it, the what the fuck are we watching fight, the overhyped fight, if you will, the fight that nobody really should be watching. Whether you've got all the time in the fucking world, you love MMA, you're a diehard fan. What's the fight on this card that you would just scrap if you were the guy making the fights? If you were a matchmaker, what's the what the fuck on this weekend's card? We'll start with RJ this time, obviously, because we started on Meter in the first round.
So to be quite frank, I'm not going to pick a single card. I'm going to pick the entire main. The entire main card. That is literal, just full of horseshit. You have somebody who hasn't won a fight in 3 years versus somebody that, and then you have two shitter get off the pot moments. You have a fucking person that's a decision. That's a 4-time decision victory, but he's number 4 of the division. You have what we just talked about, and then you have the main card, which is who gives a fuck. The entire main card, it's all overhyped. It's all horseshit.
All right, then moving on to Meter Mania. What's our over fucking hyped fight or what the fuck fight for this weekend, brother?
Well, brother, when you look up the Hall of Greatness, 2 names you will not see: Brandon Davis, Mana Martinez. There's a reason for that, because they don't know how to grasp destiny and pull it back from the jaws of defeat. So what you gotta do, brother, when that free beer prelim comes on your TV, you go get a beer.
This one's a lot easier for me to pick. Apparently, Meter Mania was not here when I purposely skipped that fight. So that's some pretty low-hanging fruit. The points go to RJ. Scrap the whole top card over the fucking Martinez. Meter Mania's taking the fucking L on this round.
All right, so now we're an even 1-1. Let's move on to round 3. So we'll flip the coin from that last question. What is the underhyped fight of this card? As the brother Meter Mania would like to say, hey, Ma, get in here, Any friend, any family member that doesn't normally watch fights, what would you invite them to? Want them to sit down, even if this is somewhat of a hangover before the pay-per-view, right? We've had off weeks for the past month. It's been back and forth. Fight, off week, and now we're back, and it's just not a good card. But what would you suggest? We'll start it back off with the brother Meter Mania.
Well, brother, on this non-glorious card, there's one thing it is plentiful of, and that is estrogen. So if we're looking for the one everybody brought in, you gotta look for the ladies. And I'm not talking about no main event bullshit. We're talking about the early ladies, talking about Piera Rodriguez versus Sam Hughes. Because when that lady gets in there and gets it going, woo! Sam Hughes.
All right, brother RJ, what's our most underhyped fight for this weekend's card?
Being quite frank, this entire card's pretty shitty. The one that I am personally there's no press, and it's kind of deserved there's no press, because it's fucking Brito versus a debut fighter. That's the only thing that fucking gets my dick even to wiggle. Everything else, it's all fucking shit. This is a hangover. Hangovers if a hangover existed. We didn't even have shit the last fucking few weeks. Everything else on this card is just literal utter dog shit.
Oh, those were not fights I was thinking of. I like where his heads are at.
I mean, I did look into it last night. Alexander, I watched some of his tape. He looks decent. He does need to work on ground game a little bit, but he does have two wins via submission. They weren't the best looking submissions, but he still got the W on tap. So a W is a W. But I mean, he does have some potential being a debut fight. And then Joe Anderson Brito, he's not a half fucking bad for where he is in the stack of that division. But I mean, they're not the household names of the UFC, so nobody knows who the fuck they are.
Yeah, Sam Hughes and Tierra Rodriguez. You know, thing is, this is a fucking pretty shit card. I'm gonna go with the shittier of my options here. And to be honest, I'm skipping the estrogen-based fight, so Meter Mania gets it for choosing the worst of the better choices.
Who got that point? Who got that point?
All right, so after that third round, the brother Meter's pulling ahead again. So let's pull off into the fourth round here. Talk about the main event of the evening. So we'll start with the brother Meter, right? Yeah, we're back to you. No, yeah, RJ. Yeah, that's what me smoking weed does. Forgetting the order. Okay, so start with RJ. What are we gonna see? Break it down for us. Tell us what's gonna happen. Alexa Garasa versus Vivian Arugio. What happens in the main event this weekend?
I honestly, as horrible as this is gonna sound, I think this is gonna be one of those drag out fucking decisions, and I honestly think Grasso gets a decision victory because she's a bit more of a point fighter. They are relatively same level standing and on the ground. So it's going to be one of those stalemate. I'm going to wait for you to do something. No, I'm going to wait for you to do something. And I think it's just going to be dog shit.
All right, brother Meter. Let us know. What are we going to see in the main event this weekend?
Let me tell you something, RJ. When it comes to these ladies, it ain't all as things appear to be. Because we all know that Vivian Arugio is confided with that dastardly no good Paul Heyman. So I'm calling for outside interference. I think Vivian Arugio is going to cheat. I think while Alexa Grasso is in there doing her work, Arugio and Paul Heyman are going to throw ashes up in the ring, and it's going to be a DQ.
Fuck. Jesus, you know, I would have taken that a lot more seriously about the possibility of a DQ, but neither one of them are really known to be eye pokers or fence grabbers. So the points I have to automatically go to RJ on that.
All right. So now the moment we've all been waiting for. If anybody can count, if anybody can add up, we are now at an even 2 rounds to 2. So we get a sudden death round in the blue corner. We have the brother, Meter Mania. And in the red corner, we have the brother, RJ Vapes, who will take their ass to the final of the Grand Prix and face the brother Clown Puncher to see who becomes the fucking champion. Next week, if I think. Yeah, right. It's going to be a good fucking time. All right. So here's the fucking question for you guys. As always, we always ask a question. Doesn't have anything to do with this card that we're about to see this weekend. So, with some news that we've had this past week, with news of Frank Mir saying that he would come back to fight next year if he could get that chance. His daughter Bella Mir is pretty damn good. She looks like a good prospect. Probably will be in the UFC someday. If she gets in the UFC sooner rather than later, and we could see them on a card together. We also have news this week, as true as it may be or false as it may be, the brother Hasbulla has apparently as well signed a deal with the UFC to actually get in the octagon and fight. Whether this is a PR stunt or not, if it really happens and we get us some midget MMA, God save the queen. Like, thank Lord Jesus. I love it. I love every last bit of it. I love Hasbulla. Would love to see him actually fight, even whether it's a real, I don't think they can do that. Like, commission wise, they got to give him another midget, right? They can't give him a full size person. So this is the question. With that in the news, that Hasbulla has signed a deal with the UFC for a real fight. Frank Mir talking about coming back to fight himself. The question is for you gentlemen tonight in this round 5 to find out who takes all. What pair up would you rather see? Frank Mir and Bellamir on a card together in the future, or Hasbulla and Habib on a card together? Let's say Charles Oliveira beats Islam next weekend, and that's his call out, and it actually pisses Habib off. And Hasbulla's coming out to fight. And for whatever fucking reason, he comes out of retirement. And we get that card, Hasbulla and Habib matchup. Which one would you be more interested in seeing? And why? The Bellamir, Frank Mir, or Hasbulla and Habib? And we'll start this one off with the brother Mir.
Well, let me tell you here. Given the options, I think it comes down to who wants it the most. And in this situation, there is no doubt in my mind. Khabib comes out of retirement, takes his tiny little brother, and throws him straight through the heart of old Charlie Olives to bring home.
That's exactly what I wanted to fucking hear. All right, so brother RJ, what do you got? What matchup would you rather see in the future of the UFC?
Out of these two, I'd much rather see the Voldemort brothers in the fucking UFC. You have somebody being fucking Khabib. I mean, if he comes back to the UFC, it's not going to be surprising. He's just going to do fucking one fight and then okay, I'm back out. But Frank Mir, dude, you got knocked out fucking standing up on your fucking feet for Triller. The fuck you think you're gonna do in the UFC against fucking young guns? Fucking actually trying to make a comeback. You tried to do that in Bellator, hopped up on fucking steroids, and you couldn't fucking do that either. Don't fucking come back to the UFC because we test here. I think it's all stupid fucking publicity press for the amount of shit that Hasbulla has been doing with fucking massive celebs, with Shaq and all of them, and Khabib is always right there with them in the cameras, doing all this stuff with them. I think it's just dumbass press.
Man. And I'm just saying. It's fucking one of the greatest odd questions I've ever fucking heard. So, would I love to see midget on midget action? Yes. Do I like the idea of a father and daughter fighting on the same card? Yes. Not necessarily those ones. But I also don't want to see Habib come back. I don't care if it's on the same fight as Hezbollah and whatever that other little fucking goddamn yellow brick road dwarf that he was feuding with. To be honest, I think both of those are terrible fucking options, and I like that you made them choose between them. Now, with that being said, I want to lean into this one a little bit and say, you know what? I don't want to see either of them. Both of them can fuck off. However, the lack thereof making a actual pick of one of the two, I have to give it to Meter Mania, because had RJ made a fucking pick, I think I might have gone RJ's way, but the lack of going a pick and saying fuck both of them, there had to be a pick made. And I'm not mad that you didn't, but we got to have a pick. You got to take a risk to get the rewards. And, well, Meter Mania did take a bit of a risk there. I'm just saying, because even though saying he's going to throw fucking Hezbollah through the heart of old Charlie Olive is definitely not going to happen, but, you know, at least it was a pick. Although I do like the pick of saying fuck both of them better, to be quite honest. But at least you made a pick on one of the choices.
Oh yeah, I fucking love that. That was the best goddamn part. The fucking throwing Hezbollah through fucking harder than Charlie Olive. I mean, who wouldn't want to see that fight? I mean, I know he retired, but it's been a couple of years, right? And he trains with all the guys, he coaches his guys. Like, if he can make the weight back down to 155, and if Oliveira beats Islam, and really bad, like embarrasses him, they're doing it in Abu Dhabi. That's close to their home. And then if he talks a bunch of shit, I know we won't understand it because he's speaking Brazilian, but then the translator will talk the shit. Then Habib would then understand. Hey, wait a second, he's talking shit. All they'd really have to do, right, is say chicken. Just call Habib a chicken. It's the biggest insult for Russians. You beat his brother in an embarrassing way and call him a chicken. Oh, he's a chicken. He won't fight me. I love that. I love that little question, and I'd love to see the Frank Mir and Bellamere thing. More like you said earlier in the pod, more in the coaching sense. I'd rather see him in her corner. I can't wait to see her get to that point because I think she will. She's a damn good fucking female prospect. Yeah,
I agree.
It's a fantastic fucking pick.
So, with that being said, I will say good match and credit to my opponent RJ, but when you come into the house with millions and millions of little meter maniacs, don't walk away with the victory, mean RJ. That being said, that's all we've got for this particular episode. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who tuned in, whether you were watching Whether you're watching this live or you're catching it on the all audio replay, you really need to go back and watch the video. If you're catching this on the all audio replay, it's worth it, I promise you. That being said, we appreciate each and every one of you who do help out around here. And if you would like to help out around here, first and foremost, make sure you are subscribed and your notifications are turned on, whether you are watching this over on YouTube or you're catching the all audio version a week after it airs over on anchor.fm/ImNoJoe. But the best way to make sure that you are doing everything you can to help out around here, patreon.com/ImNoJoe. For as little as $1 a month, you get your name added to the end of the thank you list of everybody who makes this possible, and you get access to unaired and literally unairable content, brother. And I'm telling you, if you think Bubba Love Sponge was hot, you ain't seen nothing yet. Get that $1 in there and go check out that Patreon. That being said, if you like what we get up to around here, make sure your notifications are turned on whatever platform you are listening to, whatever you are listening to or watching this on. On the other side of that coin, though, if you don't like what we get up to around here, first and foremost, what the fuck are you still doing this deep into a podcast you don't enjoy? Give us a thumbs down and then go fuck yourself. We won't even dispute it.
That being said, that's all we've got for tonight's episode. Make sure you tune in next week for the Pit Grand Prix finale where I crush the Clown Puncher. But that's all we've got for this particular episode. So remember, boys and girls, until next time, don't let ignorance stop you. You can root for anything. Unless it's winning against the Meter Mania. Oh, yeah.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good times that made us laugh.